Hi everybody, this is BDevine. Thank you so much for being here. I want to point out that if you look in the comments, there will be a link for a free course if you are interested. If you are interested, it is a flame foundation, so it sort of just gives you an overall and a journal and a whole lot of PDFs, as well as a few shorter videos just explaining what this is and what this means for you. And I think it will help some people really to understand it on a deeper level, as well as receive a lot of activation in the transmission that comes across as well. Now, yesterday I made a video about boundaries, and it's interesting that while I was making that video on boundaries, someone was totally crossing the boundary with me and had to be completely ignored. I did hear from some of you privately that you were also being attacked this very week. And I am going to make something else a little bit bigger surrounding this type of manipulation, projection, okay? But first of all, I just want you to remain strong in who you are, okay? Your flame is not here to burn you. It's here to burn off everything that you are not. Okay, rage burns everything and everyone down in its path. That's not what the flame is about. So let's just do a message for today, and I'll see what insights come in from this. So you take a breath, okay, into our chest and expand this flame. So if you breathe in, when you hold, you expand, okay, until we have this flame wall around us. We want to make sure our mirror flame is always switched on as well, so that even when things are projected at us, okay, it's not going to absorb, okay? So anyway, let's talk about this. This is the transmission for today. Deeper levels of knowing. That is what's coming through. So when we talk about flame, we're not talking about personality, ego, or mood. We're talking about the original current of you, the original blueprint of who you are, okay? The part that never agreed to dim, even when your life did this, okay? Make sure this is turned up. There are 3 levels I want to open as I'm talking with you today. The first is the human level, how the flame feels in your body and in your life. The second one is the soul level, what your flame knows that your mind has forgotten. And the architect level, how your flame writes timelines and reality itself. Okay, so we're listening to the human level, the soul level, and the architect level. Right, as always, I've got notes, because then what I do is I create all of these into PDFs for later. Okay, the human level, the flame in your being, in your body, the tightness in your chest, throat, when you're about to betray yourself, the way your stomach drops when you consider saying yes, when you know you need to say no, something that you don't want. The surge of energy when you finally speak the truth that you have swallowed for years. Most people are taught to treat this as anxiety, overreacting, or being dramatic. So they put water on it, start people pleasing, over-explaining, numbing, shrinking. Your nervous system is not the problem. Your nervous system is the alarm system of your flame. Each time you override the alarm system, you don't just hurt your feelings, you send a message to your own fire. I don't trust you, I trust the people and the systems that dim me more than I trust my own knowing. So the first level of the flame work is simple and radical. When your body tightens, you need to listen. When your energy drops around someone, listen. When you feel heavy after saying yes, listen. You don't have to fix everything at once. You simply stop calling your flame wrong and start saying, this is accurate. I know this is accurate. Sometimes a lot of problems happen when we say yes when we really mean no. When we can see what's really going on, but we really want to help. So our empathy levels get overridden by our intuitive flame energy, right? So, you know, then they're not being listened to. That energy is not being adhered to. And so then a problem happens, and it's not surprising usually, because you weren't listening to that alignment that wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? On soul level, your flame is a record keeper. It remembers every lifetime where you had to stay safe and small and don't speak up, you know, be careful. Every incarnation where you did speak and you paid for it. Every timeline where you chose truth and walked free. So when it flares up now, it's not random. It is comparing this moment to hundreds of other moments in many different ways, okay? Saying we've been here before. We know how this story ends if we stay silent. Let's not repeat this chapter. That's why some situations feel bigger than they should. You're not just responding to this lifetime, you're responding to a pattern across time. Okay? A pattern across time. So we're not just fixing the things that we've done in this life and the way that we've been in this life and the things that we've given up in this life. We're fixing patterns. And by the way, my knowledge here is shared freely. There may be situations that I have to use as an example. I will never call out anybody's name, okay, or anything like that, unless they gave me permission to do so. But I have to use examples sometimes. And when we are not listening, it's a pattern that has been going on from many lifetimes where fear has closed off our truth. And so you may be really fighting with this urge right now to expose or speak up or whatever it is that you need to do. And it can be a difficult balance when you're dealing with so many people on different levels, okay? But one thing's for certain, it is what it is. And if you say no, and if you say, no, just it's time for you to just look within, or I can't help you with that, or I'm not doing that thing, those things that way anymore, and someone has a tantrum, that's not anything to do with you. That's a projection of losing their resource. So just be careful that you're not falling backwards just because, again, you don't want someone to be upset with you or see things in the wrong way. So no explanation is needed. And I said this yesterday. So if I get an attacking sort of a message or whatever, I'm not explaining anything to that person. They've shown me who they are. So they have to go. I'm not going to sit there as the old me and saying, oh no, I think you misunderstood me, and starting to try to fix it. That doesn't happen anymore. And it's powerful when you're that way. And it's strong and it's strengthening to you. It's healing to you. It may be the first time you've ever stood up for yourself, right? Now, I'm not saying just go ahead and well, this is what I think. I'm not saying to do that. But when you're confronted with something, you do have the right to remain silent if you want to. Because some things are not worth your time or your energy, and it's almost going backwards into an explaining, caring, people-pleasing role to even try to justify what your words even were, right? People hear what they hear. I'm not here to try to tell anybody what to do. I would never do this. But I will enlighten you with patterns that you might be experiencing in your life. And if you want to go further, there's always the opportunity for this as well. So, soul level flame doesn't speak in polite sentences. It speaks in strong reactions, sudden clarity, and unexplainable peace when you choose a scary, honest option. Like not entangling yourself in something that's messy. Very peaceful. Not answering someone who's going ballistic. Very peaceful. Not responding when someone is misjudging you. Very peaceful. You're protecting your peace. Sometimes there is no need to defend. So your flame is not trying to ruin your life. It's trying to save you time. Save you time. Every time you listen, you collapse whole timelines of regret that you don't need to live again. On the architect level, the flame as a timeline writer. This is the deep layer. So you're not just on a path. Your flame is the pen that writes the path as you walk. Okay? Every act of self-betrayal doesn't only hurt your feelings, it builds out a future where you're more tired, your body's heavier, your life feels smaller, and you wonder, how did I end up here again? Every act of self-honor, even a tiny one, builds out new connections that match your truth. New work that fits and feels real for you. New doors that simply don't exist or didn't exist on the old track. Your flame is not interested in your comfort zone. It's interested in your accurate life. When you stand in it, you're not just being authentic, you're changing the architecture of the reality around you. That's how powerful it is. This is why some people, unfortunately, fall away when you ignite. Their version of reality was built on you staying exactly how you were. When your flame rises, that structure cannot hold anymore. So they may be just like, what is happening? What is going on? Normally, I can do this to you and you'll do as you're told. That's basically what people who fall away are saying. When your flame rises, that structure that is built on false energy can't hold anymore. Doesn't work. It's not personal either. Flame says if our connection requires me to stay small, then our connection's already over. I'm just catching up to that fact, right? So flame, not wildfire, there's the difference, right? Flame is not the same as destructive rage, okay? Rage wants to burn everything, including you, okay? Flame wants to burn only what's false. So the real you can actually breathe. See the difference in that? Someone who's angry wants to burn everything. And an angry person really is just angry at themselves, right? But projecting it outward out of fear. And flame wants to burn only what's false so the real you can breathe. Sometimes the anger that rises when you're done being used is part of the flame, but the goal is not scorched or scorching anybody. The goal is just clear ground. So if you do feel all pent up inside and volatile and ready to explode, breathe. Let the initial heat move. And then ask your flame, what's the cleanest, clearest action I can take that honors me without abandoning myself again? That is flame as a master, not as wildfire. See? So if you want to receive this a little bit deeper, just put your hand over your heart right now, breathing in. And as you exhale, imagine every old version of you that had to stay small just to be loved or to be acceptable. Okay? Just every version of you, younger, past you, exhausted you, right? And then you're saying, to every version of me who dimmed their flame, to survive, to be picked, to be safe, to not upset the apple cart or anyone else, thank you. You did what you had to do. But from this moment, I will not call your survival my destiny. I choose the path where my flame is allowed to be as bright as it truly is, and still be safe, and still be loved, especially by me. So breathe that in. Okay. So after this, what can change? Don't be surprised if some invitations suddenly feel wrong, or some people show their true colors. Some doors close quickly, while stranger new ones appear. Don't panic. It is the flame reorganizing your life. Your job is not to cling to what's collapsing. Your job is to stay with yourself as the old scaffolding falls. I know that this is difficult because you can be very confused by how someone could get that out of what you do. But I'm telling you, if there is some kind of anger directed at you or misunderstanding and getting all out of hand, the person was always like that with you. You just didn't notice it because you were in a smaller energy. Once you open your original blueprint, there is no choice but for things to start to move out of your way as you are focusing forward. Don't see this as failure, right? People are going to misunderstand anyway, right? That's not your path. Your path is not to try to make people understand what you're actually saying. Your path is to be true to yourself. You know, otherwise I would sit there sifting through comments and whatever on all the platforms and go through and correct people, but I'm not like that. I don't care. I don't care. If it's abusive towards me, I'm not putting up with it. If it's abusive towards what I do or who I am or making assumptions of me, no. I don't put up with anything. And, you know, I'm better for that. It's just not worth my time or energy to try to explain to someone who's already against me what I'm actually saying. You see, it makes no sense. It's like with religious people, my dad, there's no point me explaining to him how I feel about it when he has his feelings, or he did have his feelings about things. I was never going to change my ways, and he was never going to change his ways. So a compromise has to happen. And if you're in a situation where you have opposing views of somebody else, you simply don't bring up those views. It's like politics and things like that. You know, religion, politics, right? It's a no-no. Because someone gets their bee in a bonnet and gets upset about it, and they're right and you're wrong, and you're right and they're wrong, right, and whatever. So it's just best not to even bring it up as well. You live by example. If something's going terribly wrong for you, it's going to be seen, right? What I've noticed from this work is everything started to become clearer and clearer and clearer. And the confidence levels continue to grow and grow and grow. And for 99.9% of you, what I'm hearing from, you're just having remarkable changes in your life. When I mention something, you're like, oh my God, this happened to me this week, whatever, right? Because we're in that forward movement on that timeline together. So, you're never meant to be the candle on anyone else's table, burning down to keep them comfortable. You were and are the fire in the temple. When you live like that, your life will not look like everybody else's, but it will finally look like yours, how you are, the truth of who you are. There is, as I said to you, I've been around for a really long time, and I've always given from my heart because I really like to see people have changes in their life and heal from things. I've explained to you before how many people have had amazing, amazing healing experiences. Underneath everything, there has to be, on some level, absolute belief in what you're doing. There has to be belief in your reality being able to change. And there are times when we all become afraid of what could happen or what might happen, and we do get a little bit nervous about this, which is why I'm always encouraging you, make sure you got that flame on. Flame on. There is a deeper mirror technique that I will, if you really want me to, I will teach you about this. And this really, really helps as well. When you start to really begin to understand yourself and heal from the past and open yourself up to these new beginnings and start looking forward to life again and what can possibly happen, you really don't have any time to, coddle anymore. And instead, the pulling away allows for the changes to happen. The pulling away brings you into your peace. And there are some people that can't stand your peace, so they'll just try to get in there. You just got to understand when those little niggles are happening and block it off. No more. So let's go even a little bit deeper here. Flame doesn't only change you, as I'm explaining, it automatically resorts your connections. Most relationships are unconsciously built around two things: our wounds and our roles. Our roles might be rescuer, the good one, the quiet one, the strong one, the black sheep, the healer, the clown, the caretaker, whatever. When your flame starts burning, the wound stops becoming the organizing principle. The role stops becoming sustainable. And I'm telling you all this to help you, okay? So the relationship has three choices. It upgrades. Both people start relating from more truth. This is the ultimate goal, right? 2, it adjusts. It becomes looser, less central, more background. Or 3, it dissolves. The connection was never built for your full self. Okay? You'll know which is which by the feeling. The upgrade feels uncomfortable but honest conversations followed by relief. The adjusting process is less contact, fewer expectations, but warmth remains. And dissolving is deep fatigue, no capacity, repeated disrespect, or constant misunderstanding. It's not worth it. Flame doesn't ask you to decide what's good or bad. It asks, in this connection, do I still abandon myself to keep the peace? Am I still catering? Am I still rushing around? Am I still coddling? Right? If the answer is yes and stays yes, your flame will keep turning up the discomfort till you move. Your flame will never ask you to tolerate what your nervous system knows is killing you. Okay, let me say that again. Your flame will never ask you to tolerate what your nervous system knows is killing you. Nervous system knows in advance. Something is draining the life out of you. You cannot fix what someone else doesn't want to look at. See? Some people feel like, they really want to help somebody and they really wish that that person would see their point of view or whatever. So they may cater a little while longer just to see, in hopes, in anticipation, that this person will get it, right? I'm not talking about dissolving ties with your children, like immediate family or whatever, okay? This is more in a broader sense, with friends and situations, work, whatever it is. Your flame is never going to ask you to tolerate what your nervous system knows is killing you. You have to do the things that you know that bring you into peaceful, powerful situations. If something doesn't bring you into a peaceful, strong, feeling better about yourself situation, do you think that that's aligned with you? It's not. Some people fear losing you as a resource, so they will lash out to guilt trip you into stopping or maybe second guessing yourself, or maybe this is wrong. No. Most sensitive spiritual people carry an old contract that sounds like either I do my soul work or I'm provided for, I can't have both, right? So people overgive. We were talking about they stay in jobs or environments that drain them for stability. I've got to stay here, I've got to stay in this job. They separate purpose from pay and they live in constant split. Flame's not interested in the matter energy. It says, what if your right work and your right livelihood are the same path? And the only thing in the way is an agreement you didn't know that you could cancel, get rid of, remove it. When your flame activates at the money or work level, you might feel sudden disgust with the way the old things were, old ways of working. You may say strong no to people who want access to what you've got, but not your boundaries, right? Deep fatigue at the thought of business as usual. And this is where people panic saying, but I need the money, right? Flame says yes, and the way that you're doing it now is already costing you more than it gives you, right? So this is not about reckless leaps, okay? And going over your, just emailing everyone saying, that's it, it's over, I dissolved this contract. Nobody needs to know. It's about an accurate alignment in your life. You're doing less of what fractures you. You're doing more of what you actually love. You're allowing things to come into your life in ways that don't require any self-betrayal. So poverty is not more spiritual. Burnout is not more noble. Suffering is not proof that you're really doing the work. Flame doesn't want you broke and exhausted. It wants you resourced and regulated so that you can hold the field that you came to anchor. It means a lot of unnecessaries, a lot of over-explaining, a lot of overthinking. You know, those things aren't regulating your energy field. It's draining your energy field, right? We all have a choice all of the time. So why is this so intense right now? Like I said, look at the comments. People are having the same experiences. This happens in the Patreon page. It happens on Facebook, everywhere. So Earth is in a phase where these old systems, religion, politics, money, hierarchies, are reaching the end of their shelf life. They don't disappear overnight. They thrash as they go down. That thrashing shows up as more chaos, more division, more noise, more world-ending storylines. Okay? So to you, the flame bearer, this feels like overstimulation, being allergic to mainstream narratives. I can't watch, knowing something is deeply off, but everyone's pretending it's normal. So here's the important part. Your job is not to calm down the whole planet's nervous system. It's to refuse to add your flame to the hysteria fires, and instead keep it steady in truth. Flame in the collective doesn't roar on social media 24/7. It does things like refusing to share propaganda, refusing to engage in hopeless, everything is doomed talk, creating pockets of sanity, humor, love, and fierce truth in your sphere. And the old systems are burning out, which equals this chaotic fire. Your flame is intentional fire. One destroys indiscriminately, the other burns away lies and leaves room for the real, something real to grow. When you hold your flame, your energy, your focus, your blueprint, you become a stable node in the grid. People around you feel different after talking to you. Calmer, clearer, more honest. You influence timelines more by the state you hold than by the arguments that you win. See? So there's no point explaining yourself to anyone who doesn't get it. The answer is no, if that's what your answer is, and you just move on from it. You don't have to explain or whatever. If someone misunderstands you, you don't have to explain yourself and make them understand you. They already misunderstand you, right? Maybe it's not worth going into. So there's things where you can just sort of see, is this going to be worth my time or my energy? Is this aligned with me or not? Like, do I need to now make someone feel better, right, by explaining my position? This is the advice. I have to do this all the time. This is the advice. This is how we stay strong. This is how things begin to change for us, right? So, as I was saying yesterday in my video, where does my body always tell the truth first? The throat, the chest, the gut, the head. What is it trying to say lately? What is the one situation where my body says no, but my mouth says yes? Okay, so one situation where you know you're getting a no, but you're still doing. What's going on there, right? In relationships, which connection in my life only works if I stay smaller than I am? If I stop playing my assigned role in a relationship, what would change? I've seen what changes from my perspective, right? As I said, 99.9% of people are rocking it, right? And there are some that have been in the background or whatever that don't understand, so they just vent and venom comes flying out. So when I stopped being smaller and overgiving and just overdoing everything and exhausting myself, that was okay. So now I work smarter, not harder. I'm stable in my energy field. I say no when I need to. I explain where I need to. And I give where I want to. And I share freely pretty much every day, right? But it's here, and I'm here to always show you what you already have within. Maybe you're too scared to do it right now. Or maybe you don't understand everything, and that's cool. That's what I'm here for. So if you stop playing your role, what would change? And how would you feel? Or would you care at all? Like, meaning, it's not that you don't care about people, but you can't care about their reaction to you. See? It's a difference. What kind of world am I feeding when I share, repeat, or think something? What is one way I can be a point of calm truth today instead of another source of panic, right? So let's speak this over a little bit. Putting your hand over your heart, right? Breathe. I call my flame back from every lifetime, role and relationship where I was punished, mocked, or used. I call my flame back from every job, every system and contract that demanded my light but never honored my truth. I call my flame back from every corner of the collective field where my energy has been feeding fear instead of freedom. I'm done living as a smaller version of myself and kept everyone else comfortable. From this moment, my body, my choices, my relationships, and my voice align with the flame of who I really am. Anything that cannot meet me there may fall away, transform, or leave my life now. I stay with myself. I stay with the flame. I am safe. I am guided and done apologizing for the fire I came here to be. So breathe for a moment. That feels like a big yes to me, right? So what we're understanding, okay, is that you are bringing back online or within your being and activating a dormant aspect of yourself, which is the flame. That holds the original blueprints of who you really are eons ago. What we were trying to do here, how we did these things, and then how things were infiltrated to put us into a fearful vibration. Not everybody that is reacting to you, okay, is evil or whatever. They're just where they are. That's how I see it. They're where they are. They're in the belief structure that they're in, okay? And that's actually their business. If it spreads into my life and it's nasty and it's superior in hierarchy stuff, people saying they're the one or whatever, that they have ascended higher than anybody else, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But some people believe that. But keep it in that area. If it spreads over to me and it starts to become extremely nasty, it's gone. If someone generally asks me a question, you're going to get an answer, you know? So, all potentials are here. We have to ask ourselves, which are we feeding right now? When your flame is active, okay, you feel past life in present triggers. Remember, it's an accumulation of a lot of things. You feel future possibilities on your body now. You feel like you've done this before, even when it's new. This is because the flame sits outside linear time and threads in the version of reality that matches your current state. So when you keep saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to do all that old stuff, you keep threading that same loop. And when you choose a new honest action, your flame pulls in a completely different track. Even if physical life, takes a little minute to catch up. So you're not just making a choice, you are closing whole realities and opening all of these new ones. This is why it's so big, right? But I do tell you this, I am going to tell you this. The more that you trust, the more that you listen, okay, to your intuition, the more that you put your flame and your mirror flame around you, okay, unfortunately that means that people's envy or whatever is going to be reflected back to them, so they just lash out. Okay, whatever happens, right, understand that as you do these simple tasks, okay, simple task, resetting, rebreathing, closing things down, opening up where you want to go, understanding yourself, bringing your flame within, starting to do the breathing, right, just doing these little things. Naturally what occurs is that you start to become brighter and bolder and stronger. And it naturally happens. It's not something that you're striving for anymore. And so if you want to become more courageous and have more confidence and feel young again, or whatever it is that you want to feel alive, then this is all you need to do, and it works for you, right? So your flame is your time technician. It isn't fixing your past, it's choosing which version of the past and the future that you carry forward. Which version of you is moving ahead? So the energy here also is this era has a new layer. So we have all these machines and networks, right? Flame sees technology as a neutral tool that can be possessed by mimic fields or consecrated to truth. When your flame is dim, you scroll in trance, you feed these fear grids, you lose hours. Technology uses you as a battery. When your flame's active, you treat your things as an altar. Now what I mean by that is, say your phone. I don't know if you treat your phone with the mirror flame, or give it an energy cleanse or whatever it is, but understand that anything's connected to your name, any platform or whatever, you need to make sure that your shielding goes out to all of those things also. And you're treating it as energy. You're treating it as a decision. What's going to open on this thing? What's coming through this thing? What am I feeding through this? What am I listening to? What am I allowing to come towards me? And you may be really selective about your posts or what you watch, what you consent to as well. So your flame decides if the technology is amplifying or harvesting as well. So intentionally using things to broadcast truth, right, is always a good thing. So when you have the recognition, you get this spark of energy saying, I just can't keep doing this with my life. That's your recognition. Old things just feel different to you. There's confusion, but also a relief. And the key medicine with that is honesty. So in the past you might have been pretending that you were fulfilled with things that really weren't working for you. Okay. Stage 2, burn, purification. Relationships, jobs, beliefs, things just start to fall away and crack. You face patterns of self-abandonment, you face the people-pleasing, and it can feel like losing everything, but you're actually losing what never matched you. And the key medicine here is trust. Let what's truly dead just go. No explanation. Okay? Instead of performing CPR on this and trying to bring it back to life. What for? The same thing's going to happen again. Stage 3 is the integration, the embers. Things go quieter, there's less drama, there's more space. You're tempted to think nothing is happening, but underground, deep roots are growing. You learn your natural rhythm, when to act and when to rest. And the key medicine is patience. Don't rush to fill the silence with the old chaos. Patience. Stage 4, flame sovereignty, right? Steady flame. The boundaries are cleaner. Your work, relationships and daily life start matching who you are. You don't chase recognition. It begins to trace you. Okay? And the key medicine is consistency. Keep choosing the accurate life even when doubts are whispering at you. Stage 5 is torch, service. Your life itself becomes a transmission. That's why you're the voice of the flame. It starts becoming this way. People change just by being in your presence. You hold space without collapsing into everyone's storms. The key medicine here is the humility and structure. You're not a savior, you're an anchor. You have systems so you don't burn out. So you can say here, you move through these stages many times. It's a spiral, it's not a ladder. You're moving through the stages, right? So try your best to tune into the flame. No phone for 5 to 10 minutes when you first wake up. Bring in your breathing first thing in the morning. I do this before I get out of bed. What does my flame need from me today? What do I need to be doing? What's the energy? What's the message? What's the post, right? And just feeling that, making sure that there were no thoughts that were coming on my mind first thing that were concerning or whatever, right? So you commit to just one thing that you know the flame is pushing you to do. Then at lunchtime, you're sort of checking the contract. So you are sitting quiet for a few minutes and you're like, what have I said yes to today that my flame doesn't agree with? And maybe you'll have the opportunity to adjust something or cancel one of those agreements or decide how you'll change it next time. So this is a way of looking at self-betrayal right away, rather than looking at it months later and going, oh my God, I should have just said no, right? And at night time, you return of the flame comes. So before sleep, you imagine all the places your energy went, conversations, screens, worries, people, whatever. And you say, any piece of my flame scattered in fear, stress, or overgiving today, come back to me now cleansed. And see that returning to your chest, okay? And then you say, I did enough. I am enough. We rest now. So this prevents your energy going elsewhere while you're asleep and feeling depleted. So when we are doing this work, it's so simple, okay? It is going to ruffle a few feathers. The only way that I know how to share with you is to use myself, as I always have, as an example, and examples that other people have also shared freely as well, or allowed me to share. On this particular channel, and all of the channels that I have, it is about awakening. It is about ignition. It is about let's go. It's about caring for you in a way that brings you into a more truthful, a more honest, and a more daring part of who you are. Bringing that forward, because that will carry you through any of the nonsense. It's about bringing you into the greatest timeline for yourself as an architect that you are. And an architect draws forward, draws plans for the future, draws plans for things that they are building, see. So you've got to draw plans in your life of what you're building, what you're creating, what you're pushing into this world. And that comes from adjusting the way in which your brain works to remove itself from the trauma of the past. And sometimes the sting of other people's true intentions that start coming forward when you speak this way or you do this work is hard, because you are a kind and loving person. And to think that, you know, after everything that you've done, someone is still seeing you this way, it makes no sense for you to continue to explain it, overdo, or chase that person back. Just remember that sometimes your energy fading from someone's life is enough to allow them to propel forward also. We don't have to fix everybody. In fact, the purpose here is to work on fixing our energy, ourselves, back to its original blueprint, untainted, untraumatized, without all of the baggage from all of the lifetimes as well. And if each one of us can do this within ourselves, without explanation, just working on it, without overthinking, just doing it, right? Then the stronger the earth becomes, the more connected people become with people who have less drama and less stress and less worries, right? The more healing starts to happen throughout your lineage and through people that you don't even know exist, because they are watching without saying anything, right? Sometimes those people come forward. I've had people that told me that they waited, I don't know, something like 8 years before they ever made a comment, right? But we're just watching. However it is, this has always been creating something for yourself. Creating the life that you want for yourself, and that you're more powerful than anyone has ever told you you are, without ego, of course, because there are no real hierarchies, and no one is higher than anyone else. And if a guide tells you you are, you might want to make sure that you are quickly clearing your own energy and making sure. And if that's the truth, then off you go and teach and do in your own way as well, right? Without needing anybody else. You know, that's what it's all about also. We have our sovereignty, we have our strength in who we are, no explanation needed. We continue to do good because it feels good to do good, doesn't it? Right? But without doing because you have to, or because someone sees you as having to, because you're meant to, right? No, it's because you want to, right? You have to value yourself as much as you would value someone else. You must have to come first in order for you to truly, truly reconstruct your energy fields as well. Okay. So I hope that this was a helpful message. It's all I ever want to do. And sending love, of course, to all. And if you want to try the free course or any of the free courses, the link will be below for the Temple of the Flame. And then you can go through and see what you're interested in. There will be bigger sequences coming, bigger courses as well that all go in a sequence. So we start with the free flame foundation and then we move on from there. Okay. I will talk to you all really, really soon. Sending many blessings, of course. Bye for now.